Hayes truck will be making the left-hand turn off the track into the infield. Green flag wave. Troy Wackerman grabbed that early race lead. Freddie Raymer in the second spot. Anthony Macri third. Here comes Danny Dietrich to the outside of Cameron Smith. Put Dietrich up to fourth. Smith battles back on the inside. That battle may not be over. It's going to be Wackerman leading lap number one. Here comes Freddie Raymer. He takes a look to the outside, pulls back in behind the 27 of Wackerman. Raymer to the inside. Freddie Raymer takes over the race lead. Can he hold on to it? He does indeed. He'll lead that lap. And here comes Danny Dietrich to the inside of Anthony Macri. Macri battles back on the outside. He'll maintain the third position. Dietrich in fourth as Freddie Raymer shows the way. It's Freddie Raymer, your leader. It's the 75 of Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith losing power on underneath the hood of that 75 car. Green flag wave. Dietrich again trying to take away that third spot from Macri. Macri cuts down, goes to the bottom, tries to retake the position. They're side by side as they enter turn number 3. Dietrich on the outside, Macri on the inside. Raymer, your race leader. Wackerman is second, Dietrich in third. Macri now in danger of losing that spot, the fourth spot, to the 23 of Dietz. Raymer gets held up just a bit. Here comes Troy Wackerman. Wackerman within 2 car lengths of the race leader. Wackerman to the inside. Troy Wackerman Jr. tries to retake the lead. Momentarily does so. They're side by side down the front straightaway. Again, it's going to be Wackerman going to the inside. Here comes Freddie Raymer back on the inside. Trading positions left and right here at BAPS Motor Speedway. Race traffic plenty ahead as those two drivers continue to battle. Danny Dietrich, Macri, they're still trading spots. They've got Chase Dietz involved and a 34 of Andy Best up against the outside guardrail, and it looks like he will slow down and bring out the caution flag. Pace picks up. Green flag waves. Anthony Macri challenges for second. Here comes Chase Dietz to the outside of Danny Dietrich. Dietz now sets his sights on the 39M of Anthony Macri. Dietz turns down to the bottom, tries to get up alongside. It's a 3-car battle for the third. And Danny Dietrich goes to the inside, tries to get both of them. Nobody advances, but they're sure making it exciting. Right now, it's Freddie Raymer out front, Anthony Macri in that third spot. Sandwiched between those two guys is the 27 of Troy Wackerman Jr. Traffic certainly could be a factor here in the outcome of today's 30-lap feature. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Freddie Raymer, Troy Wackerman Jr., then it's going to be Anthony Macri and Chase Dietz battling for that race win. Checkered flag just 3 laps away. Raymer, oh, what a move by the 27 of Wackerman, and Wackerman goes back to the inside, retakes that number 1 spot. Here comes Macri. Macri looking to the inside. The inside of Raymer. Here comes, and Raymer gets called up behind Macri. Here comes Chase Dietz. They're 3 wide off turn 2 down the back straightaway. Macri made slight contact with the outside retaining wall. That's going to cost him some ground, that's for sure. Up front, it's Troy Wackerman Jr., your race leader. Wackerman once again out front. And now Chase Dietz gives up that second spot to Freddie Raymer. Freddie Raymer trying to hold on to a checkered flag for Troy Wackerman Jr. Fans, he's out of the car. He can hear you. Having a big hand for Troy Wackerman Jr. First of all, congratulations. I got to say this. Yeah, how about that? You brought the fan club with you. You've won some races, but I don't know if you've ever won one quite that exciting.
That was fun, and I like racing Freddie, but goddamn, it feels good to beat him. And we got a brand new Beijing Bullet here, the Triple X, and she was pretty damn good. Just had to be patient with lap cars there. It was real top dominant, and it worked out.
Pace truck off the speedway. Brian Wolf and Eli Tuckey get the green flag. Wolf enters turn one with the lead, but Tuckey battles on the outside. Coming back in turn two, tries to take it away, can't get it done. Looks like Cody Fletcher from his sixth starting position all the way up to challenge for the race lead. Fletcher on the outside coming off turn number two. He is your race leader. Got one car having a problem up in turns 1 and 2. Looks like left rear flat tire. Brady and Mickley does not. We're green. Cody Fletcher going back to work. Fletcher trying to take over that race lead. Had it momentarily using the outside line, still up on the top side. And it will be Cody Fletcher showing the way, your new race leader. Fletcher started in that number 6 position, and he just worked his way very, very quickly up front and is pulling away from the rest of the field. Cody Fletcher with a 1.5 second advantage and only 3 laps in the record book after starting on the outside of row 3. Fletcher continues to just dominate this event in the early stages. Eli Tuckey, he'll try this top side. Tuckey trying that high line. Can he take, oh, it goes to the bottom, coming down the back straightaway and takes it with a runner-up position. Cody Fletcher using an outside line, showing some people what there's something up there. He's making it work. Now it's Derek Locke up to third. Locke maybe going from second, trying to get to twofer, can't get it done. Hangs on to that third spot. Eli Tuckey in second. Quite a bit of smoke coming out of the 7W of Jaden Wolf. Wolf continues at speed though. Wolf coming back and tries to go to the inside of Derek Locke. It's going to be Jaden Wolf taking over that third position. That'll put Derek Locke back into fourth. Brian Wolf Jr., your pole setter, currently in the number 5 spot. Over a 4.5 second lead for the youngster out of East Berlin, Pennsylvania. A couple of cars falling off the pace, pulling into the infield. We will stay green. 16 laps remain. Cody Fletcher now coming up to put the 70D of Frankie Hurt a lap down. Fletcher on a rail here this afternoon. Jaden Wolf second. Eli Tuckey is third. Still that smoke coming out of Wolf's car when he goes through the turns. Derek Locke fourth. In the number 5 spot. Nothing there. Can't pull off the slide job. It'll still be Cody Fletcher showing the way. But Jaden Wolf, he's there. He is there. Fletcher to the inside. Wolf to the high side. They come off turn number 4. They're still first and second. Race traffic a factor for sure as Jaden Wolf finds himself on the high side. Caught behind a lapped car. Goes to the inside, goes around that, and goes down to the inside, further inside to try and take away the race lead. Jaden Wolf making a challenge out of this. Now we've got the caution flag waving. Oh my goodness, what a heartbreaker. Jaden Wolf, that we mentioned the fact he's been smoking quite a bit in through the turns, but he was fast. He was catching Cody Fletcher. Fletcher had a several second advantage when Jaden Wolf got into the runner-up spot. Cody Fletcher looking good here at BAPS Motor Speedway in the Fan Alley here this afternoon. 25 lap, 358 feature event. Coming around turn 3, off turn 4, checkered flag in the air for Cody Fletcher. What a job. That was outstanding.
Was it?
It was. Yeah, I got to tell you, you missed all the action. There was so much racing behind you, but you missed it all. But I guess you don't mind missing it.
I hope not. Them guys worked hard on the car and they had it going good. And this is great. They did for Jeff, and I told him thought I was gonna have to be around the bottom. Never thought I'd run a race around the top. That's for sure.
Can you believe this daytime race? Matt Miller just said it. 2 of the best features he's ever seen, and they were both on a daytime track. Can you believe that?
Well, we like the day races. That's good for us. We keep going.
Well, you did. You started 6th, and within the first lap, you were challenging for the lead. What a start.
Yep, we had a good. Yeah, they worked hard on the car and had it going good. And Brody pulled a good number, and it felt good. It makes it easy. It was almost. Just rode around. Them guys work hard on the car, and it was almost too good. I didn't know what to do.
What's going on? It's Monday, March 30th, 2026. I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining us tonight. Got a good show planned for you. We're going to recap the weekend. We had a lot of good racing. Some of that you just saw right there. Thanks to PA Posse TV for putting that up with the highlights from yesterday's BAPS race, the 410 and the 358s, both features. Awesome. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the high limit racing, high limit and World of Outlaw races from last week. And then we'll take a look ahead. As always, we need to thank all of our loyal viewers that tune in every week. Matt Bird, Santos, Samuel Greenwald says, finally having the ability to join the beginning and throughout this podcast for the first Monday in a while. LOL. What's up, everybody? What's going on, Samuel? Jays Magby, Murray Beasley. We have JX Gaming Tips and Tricks. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Mandy says, hello, T2T. How is everybody on this fine evening? On this fine Monday? We're doing pretty good. Disavowed was talking about lawnmowers there. And of course, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Jaden Wolf, a little depressed. Obviously, if you saw from those highlights there, we feel for you, man. Dakota Kuhn, Doug Kreiser, Josh Kitzmiller, Brandon Zirk. What's going on? Thanks everybody so much for tuning in. We're gonna get to it here in a second. But Jay-Z, man, how are you doing?
Man, I'm good. And somebody said fine Monday. It was amazing outside today.
I know, right?
Tomorrow looks just as good. We're getting some good Monday through Fridays here lately, just not as many good Saturdays and Sundays. So for weather-wise, but that's springtime in Pennsylvania for you.
Yeah. Tony Sharp, man, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat there. Let's get right to it. We're gonna recap yesterday at BAPS Motor Speedway. We're gonna start with the 410s. Banger of a feature. Troy Wagaman Jr. with the win over Freddie Raymer, who led a lot of this early. Chase Dietz, Danny Dietrich, Anthony Macri, Dylan Norris, Lance DeWeese, Tyler Ross, TJ Stutz, Gerard McIntyre, your top 10. Lance DeWeese was overall quick time. They did a little bit of a bonus for that. Freddie Raymer, Danny Dietrich, Anthony Macri won heat races, and JJ Loss was your hard charger, +9, going from 22nd to 13th. But the story was up front. Obviously, the battle between Troy and Freddie, and then you had Anthony Macri in there, Chase Dietz, Danny Dietrich. They were slugging it out as well, but man, what a win for Troy. Him and Freddie going back and forth. Freddie got in the Andy Best at one point, who was they were coming in as a lapper. That was unfortunate. And then they had a yellow. I didn't know how quickly they would get back into lap traffic, but they got back into lap traffic pretty quick after that. And good thing they did, because, man, it helped put on. I mean, the track was good anyway, but it allowed Troy to kind of pick his spots, and he had to throw some aggressive sliders, and he got them to stick and pulled away with the win there right at the end.
There is a lot here.
Yeah.
Like watching it live was awesome. As I watched it live, I had thoughts, and then the ending, and then Troy's interview, and then the 358s. Um, you know, you have to give BAPS all this credit. I mean, the BAPS gave them the drivers the opportunity to put on a show for us like they did.
Yeah.
We because it was not looking like it was going to be that way. Obviously, anybody watched it, you know, you watched the heats. We didn't have any of that. So, um, you know, this was definitely a lap traffic sort of race where the top was so good that, you know, it was Freddie. He was out and gone, and they were just. I mean, these guys were running so hard, and there was so much grip on that cushion that, I mean, through 1 and 2, it just seemed like looked like they were flat out. I don't know if they were or not, but they were driving the cars very, very hard. And you had fast race cars. You had Freddie, Troy, Chase, Danny, Macri, like that group, and they were spread out almost the exact same amount for a while in the middle of that race. And it was like every time they got the lap traffic, man, they just closed up on each other so fast. And it really was like, well, that's going to make this race. Can we get there? And we got the lap traffic quick enough, because if you were not running the top, you were that much slower that you just got sucked up by the leaders that quick. Here's what happens. They got to lap traffic. Well, then the lap traffic, when you pass a few of those cars that are on the bottom, and then the cars that are racing each other, you know, you look at like Brett Strickler, Billy Dietrich, you know, the X, those guys were actually running the top too, and they were quick enough that the leaders caught them, but they were quick enough that now it's like, uh-oh, they're in the lane I want to be in. Now what do you do? Because they know they don't want to run the bottom, or they don't really want to stay on the bottom long if they don't have to. So it was like, you know, like JT Ferry and Cole Knop weren't running the top a ton, so it got to them quickly, but they were trying to get down to straightaways. So it was like trying to get around them, and, you know, kind of just battle through. And, you know, this thing took off and Troy was on the pole, and he didn't look great at the beginning. I was concerned right away when he didn't kind of go to the top in 1 and 2. Well, Freddie drives around him, throws a slider back at Freddie, didn't quite get there. And then it just looked like he sort of settled in, and it was like, well, we got what we got. And all of a sudden, here comes a bomb, a wagga bomb, as he calls it. And it kind of stuck. Like, it was enough that it slowed Freddie's momentum down, that it stuck. And then it was just about, like, it was just chaos from there for the last couple laps. And it was like, holy crap, I couldn't keep up. And watching Troy sneaks away, and then this battle behind with Freddie, Chase, Dan, Macri.
Yeah, Macri was third
insane.
going into that final lap, or final or 2 to go.
Like 2
And
to
he ends
go.
up fifth
Yeah,
here.
Macri was
They
third,
were 3
and in
wide.
the picture,
Yeah.
just insanity. And you know, BAPS doing what they did created this opportunity for us to see what BAPS is about, because it is. This is what we have seen for a long, long time, and the stuff that we've been talking about for a long time. This is BAPS. Now, I don't know if I've seen the cushion be that strong where it was just these massive sliders. And speaking of the sliders, somebody said, Troy said it best, slide or die. I told a few people after that the sliders, like that I too, like they felt personal. Like when some of these guys run sliders into doors. I'm telling you what, dude, I cringed a couple times looking at it. I'm supposed to be taking pictures and videos, and I'm like going one of these, like, oh my God, this is not going to end. And it, some of them didn't end well, but it was aggressive, and you had to be. If you had the run or you had the opening, you had to try. That was the way you were going to pass the race cars. And I've said it many, many times, and I've said it to many, many people. If you're going to give me a 1-lane racetrack, at least make it around the top. Because if someone makes a mistake, the straightaways are slow, the straightaways are kind of slick, at least you have an opportunity to see a slider. You have an opportunity to see some guys do some racing. When it's around the bottom, we got nothing. It's boring. No one loves it. It's not racing. That's what we saw in the heats.
Yeah, I was just gonna say for the entire day, that's what you saw. I mean, it was a daytime surface. It was windy. It was sunny. And they start. You know, it was warmer, but it wasn't like. I mean, I wasn't there, but it wasn't like warm. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. It wasn't like, oh, I'm out in a t-shirt or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it was still chilly, and you had a little bit of that wind. You know, they had an uphill battle with the surface. You know what I mean? And they did a good job of at least making the features, giving the driver something to put on a show with, you know, for the features, and they did it for both of them. I wasn't as, you know, we'll talk about the 358s here in a few minutes, but I didn't expect as good of a race for the 358s as they had either, and then they put on a hell of a show. So, um, yeah, just with like you said in the heats, it was all single lane on the bottom. What could you do? It's just daytime racing, and I I think a lot of us do like daytime racing, but it's what comes with that is the daytime surface, and that's what you kind of get. And um, you saw that on full display on Sunday for sure. But they did a good job. They had a lengthy intermission to the point where you could hear people, even on the stream. I was watching on Posse TV. You could hear people on the stream kind of getting a little restless, be like, all right, come on. You know what I mean? But I think after that feature, I don't think anybody was really that upset. It was a long day, I can imagine. I mean, um, but at the end of the day, you got a great product and a great race, and something that we'll be talking about this race all year. I think this was going to be one of the top races of the year, and at least it's definitely the race of the year around here so far, I would say, for sure. And this is definitely a memorable one.
Yeah, and you have to. For me, I look at it and go, is my time more valuable or not? Right? How valuable is my time? And for me, if I'm going to be there and watch a race, and listen, yeah, look, the fact is this: I get a media credential. I don't pay to get in anymore, but I don't care. My time is still valuable as a human.
Right.
That time is valuable, but I will always, always, if the heats were as bad as they were anywhere, any place I go, I will always want the track to take the time to try to give us a feature.
Oh, for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
still a fan, whether I paid or not. It's still my time. I'm still a fan, and I want the track to make an attempt. I really do. And the people that booed or didn't, shame on them, because did you really want to see what you saw in the heats the whole time? Maybe. I mean, I guess maybe if you're a fan of the pole sitter, which we're a fan of that guy, but like, I'd rather I'd rather see a race, not a follow the leader for
Right.
30 laps, because you want to get out of there sooner. So I will always give the track the benefit of the doubt. Now, if they do something and it doesn't do anything, it's like, okay, well, did you really did you have an intention? Was there intentionality behind what you did there? Did it help? Did it make it work? And shout out to that track crew. They knew what was going to, obviously, or either they guessed really right, or they knew what they needed to do to bring it back, because it worked in a big way, to the point that there was a lot of racetrack left for these 358s. And my last thought here, couple things, couple quick notes of some things. Troy and Victory Lane, 2 quotes of the year. The Beijing Bullet.
So good. That was
Breaking
so
out the
good.
Beijing Bullet.
I completely missed it because I was already laughing at the first quote, which I think is what you're going to say next.
Which is the next one, right? Hey, I love racing with Freddie, but goddamn, it feels good to beat him, right? Because listen, he's Troy and Freddie. It's been those two names at Williams Grove and Lincoln for 2 straight years now, battling it out to the end for these championships and wins, and all of that. So this was another example, another night of it. And we saw a great race with it. And then we get those quotes. Troy gets the win. And listen, this wasn't even on his schedule. If Williams Grove and Port ran this weekend, he wasn't going to be at BAPS.
That was the best thing was, and shout out to, he has a pretty good, people helping him with the social media and everything too, because he was supposed to, it was originally just Williams Grove and Port Royal, which both got canceled, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. But
I don't know if you knew.
But when he put that out, there was a lot of people in his comments. What about BAPS? Why not BAPS? BAPS, 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 BAPS. And they end up changing their mind with those two getting canceled. Makes the last second choice to go to BAPS, and it was funny on his social media, but ends up paying off.
And a brand new race car on a chassis they've never done. They've never raced a Triple X before. This combination of driver crew, first time putting a Triple X together. They put it together during the week and to go out and win their first race with it. So the combo that this team has going with Ben and Troy and the rest of them, they just work well together. Troy got out and gave it compliments, saying it's the hardest I've ever ran on the cushion probably anywhere, and trusted it and just blasting the thing around the top. So that's cool. I'm here for that. And then a couple of other quick notes. Dylan Norris. What a great
Yeah.
start to the season for
Yeah.
Dylan.
Very strong run.
Other than one DNF, I don't know what happened that night. It looked like obviously it wasn't, fatal, but like in both the plank car and his own car, it's a really, really solid start to the season. Um, you know, he just keeps showing up every near the front of these fields, and I'm like, okay, all right. Like even in the heat race, it was pretty impressive. Chase Dietz, ninth to third, we expect that, but listen, probably one of the harder ninth to thirds he's probably ever ran or worked for. Like that was not easy to do. And, a slip up the other way. Look at Anthony, right? Anthony threw that deep slider on Freddie. Freddie taps him in the tail tank. He almost hits the opening. It did hit the opening basically on the backstretch. Gets all out of whack. I mean, that's the difference between third and fifth, or second and fifth. Danny kind of got shuffled out at one point, kind of came back. So like, it was this kind of like such an aggressive battle that, man, you lose the momentum. You were sinking to the back there. So just a couple notes there. I think Aaron Bollinger was really good to be, went 20th to 14th. I noticed that he was like making a second lane in the B. JJ lost 22nd to 13th. Now, obviously, some of these pluses were due to some attrition, but at the same time, they ran all the laps and they finished where they finished. So, good, solid field of cars too.
Yeah.
There weren't really
30
slouches. Like,
really
good field of cars. Man, couldn't be happier with what I watched.
Yeah. Kyle Moody with a good run, +8, almost hard charger, 19th to 11th. Good run for Kyle. He's been always pretty good at BAPS. He's always one of the guys that you watch that you expect to kind of get top 10 there. Billy Dietrich there finishes 15th. Brett Strickler 16th. Shout out to those guys. Good run for Brett. Unfortunate run for Cam Smith, who started 4th, was up there in the beginning of this race and broke. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but something mechanical. And then something happened between Cody and Brock. I'm not sure exactly what happened in turn 3 and 4,
No,
but they
that
both.
was Cody
Cody got together with TJ Stutz earlier, yeah. But the caution
brought out, he did a 360, and they threw
that
the
brought
yellow.
out the first
Cody
yellow.
kept going. Yep.
And then there was another yellow. The next yellow was both Cody and Brock were parked in turn 4. One was on the top, one was on the bottom, and then they were both done for the day, I guess. And then Andy Best was a DNF.
I didn't see Brock stop on that one.
Yeah, he was stopped right next to Cody down on the bottom in turn 4. So, and then he went right back to the pits. So I'm not sure. It didn't look like they were wrecked. They were both pointing in the right direction and just parked. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe if somebody else knows, they could chime in.
I honestly thought Cody was broke from the incident before, because he parked.
It could have been.
He stopped so quickly. I just thought that's what happened, because I didn't even see Brock. So unless something happened there between those two, unless it's just at the same time, I assume Cody's right front was broken. He didn't know it.
Yeah, Dakota said they both stopped and broke at the same time. So it was just when the camera panned at him, he had Cody up at the top, right by that opening, going back to the pits, and then Brock was down at the bottom, basically right next to him. So
yeah.
Jennifer Cool says Freddie helped Andy. Feel bad for Andy Best here to
yes,
to the 2, 4, 10 races here at BAPS. I was kind of impressed with some of his speed that he's shown, but obviously, I mean, he had that wheelie the last BAPS race and went into the wall, and then here, gets a little bit of help into the wall. Let's just say, turn 2 is always really tough at BAPS, for sure. It gets so tight there, and it just seemed like Freddie just pushed right up, and I don't know. I'm not sure exactly.
He threw a slider and he cleared him out. Like,
just what it is.
Maybe he thought he wouldn't be there by the time he got finished the slider, but he just right rear into his cockpit, and I feel terrible for Andy. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't out of shape. He didn't do anything wrong, and I didn't love that look. It had the look of Freddie going, "I got to go, brother. Like, sorry, got to go here." So not great.
Billy says, 720 with no caution. So the
top was so fast. I saw Billy run it a few laps.
Santos said, hopefully that hard charger pays for JJ to get upgraded brakes because apparently they were non-existent in the B main.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened
I
there. I
don't.
didn't get to
Yeah,
see all of it. I just saw the result, so I don't know.
yeah, I know something happened there between him and Givler. They didn't really show it
I
on
mean,
the stream. They ended up.
yeah.
Um, I know John Crawl said about it, about him being about Givler being really out of shape, and but then the next time you saw him was he was stopped on the front straightaway the next lap. So not sure what happened. We heard about a little bit, but um, only know really one side of the story there. So unfortunate for everybody involved
Yeah,
there.
it just looked like JJ got into the back of Givler coming to the green flag on the front stretch and just kind of shoved him out
Shoved him out of the
down out
way.
of the groove and almost kind of basically wrecked him. And I didn't talk to Jordan, but I have a feeling Jordan stopped to protest it basically
Yeah,
because the car wasn't broken. He finished the race, but I think he slowed down and ended up stopping where he stopped to be like, "What are you guys going to do? I didn't even get to restart the race. I got shoved out of a
right.
transfer spot."
And it
So
sucks because
yeah, don't love that.
he was one of the two Jeff Robar cars, two of the 45s that were out there, and it sucks that he was in a transfer spot at the time, and they kind of took him out of it, so kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um, any other thoughts from the 410s before we move to the 358s?
I don't think so. No, if I do, we can come back to it.
So let's go to the 358s. Where Cody Fletcher got the win, coming from 6th to 1st over Derek Locke, Eli Tuckey, Cole Young, Adam Carberry, Chase Gutshaw, Brian Wolf Jr., Brock Hamaker, Steve Wilbur, and Austin Reed, your top 10. Your hard charger was Brock Hamaker, 21st to 8th. What a run, plus 13. Your heat race winners were Brian Wolf Jr., Steve Wilbur, and Tom Sensteny Jr., who ended up finishing 20th. Finishing 19th there is Jaden Wolf. Man, he was fast, hooked up. That thing was smoking for a while, and then just let go with about 7 to go, I think, going into turn 1. As he was right on the tail tank of Cody Fletcher. Cody came out of he was a bat out of hell. Uh, Pretty much by the first lap, he was already challenging for the lead, coming from 6th. He ran that top and once he was there, he was going to be hard to catch. And they got a little bit lap traffic, and Jaden Wolf got himself up there. I mean, he was 13th. He was up to 2nd and looking for the lead. Derek Locke was really fast. Cole Young was pretty fast. He was running up there for a while, and so was Adam Carberry. Eli Tuckey with a good run. He kept himself up in about that top 3 all race. So it really, really fun 358 feature. But in the end, it was Cody Fletcher getting out to that lead, holding on to it, running that top. I mean, before this race started, I think I was talking to our buddy Jim Tenorelli, and we're like, who gets off the bottom here? You kind of just figure 358s. It's a second feature. They're going to just run the bottom. Well, a lot of people ran the bottom, but the fast line was still the top for the 358s, and it made for a great, fantastic race. You had a lot of movers here, a lot of guys that could pass.
Yeah, I mean, I can't explain it much better than that. I was a little apprehensive to think the 358s, the drivers and teams would go up there and find it. But the people that did go up there were the ones I expected to go up there, and
Right.
there was clearly a lot of grip left because I mean the amount of speed they could carry when they got it right, and could just gain on another car and just blow past them like they were sitting still, was very impressive. And I'll tell you this, speaking as a fan and speaking, obviously that's all we are, someone who's watched this division a long time, this kind of surface and this kind of track helps these drivers improve more than any other surface that you can give them. Because more often than not, we see at Lincoln, it's bottom, 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 slow, round the rail. More often than not, they're not learning, they're not getting better that way. And some of these younger kids, if they have aspirations to move up into the 410s, they're going to get racetracks where there's a cushion. How are they going to learn to do it? And then these 410 drivers have the respect for them coming in How are they going to learn to do it if they never have a track to do it on? That's my
Right.
thing here lately is like, what are they learning going slow and slick? Yeah, they're learning a skill, but okay, you got it. Let's see the other side of it. So, like it and listen, it was the far way around in 1 and 2. It was up there.
Mhm.
And it still was that much faster. And, Cody Fletcher's not a guy to run the top. He's just not. That's not his strong suit. He doesn't do it a lot. But damn, he went up there and that thing was a slot car. It was a rocket ship. We know, Jaden and Chase Gutshaw and Cole Young and Adam Carberry has a lot of experience. They
Mhm.
can run the top. There's some others in there, so forgive me. Like Steve Owings, he has the experience. But I need to see more of this from these other race to give these drivers a chance to race on a surface like this to learn if they're going to go any further. Now, some folks there's in the 358 division aren't maybe never get to the 410 division, and it doesn't matter. But I think in this field, in this division, and the long term health of that 410 division, eventually where these drivers want to go, we need to have these surfaces where they can go do that and make a mistake and learn and or succeed and go, oh, I got to do okay. I know what to do next time,
Right.
right? A guy like Eli Tuckey, how many times has he got to race on a surface like that in his young career and
Yeah,
go up
no.
and bang the wall?
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
Even Williams Grove, it's not really a top per se. Like it's out there, but it's not the top against the wall. What track do we have for these cars where they go run the wall?
Yeah.
Port Royal, and they get there once a year.
And once a year now.
And if
And
it's
before
at
it was,
the
yeah, and
you know,
before it was, I mean, for years before that, it was only if you threw a 360 in. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, so
So I loved everything about what I watched. And okay, so I'll talk about Brock Hammaker quick, right? Followed Brock through his career last year with the Sportsman. We've had Brock on here. We've talked to him. I did the pit walk. I said hi to him. So I didn't know what to expect. He drew the 9 pill, which means he was going to start in front of a heat race. Well, they pushed the car out for motor heat and it does not fire.
ugh.
Misses hot laps. So he has 0 laps in a 358. He's supposed to start in front of a heat. He opted for the rear in the heat race.
Yeah. Yeah.
So went out there, got his feet under him a little. Obviously started 21st here. Got out of the B main, got in, and we talked last night, and he said, talked to Dad and said, I'm going to run the top. Dad said, no, you don't need to go run the top. Damn it. Like, no. Well, race got going, got started, and he accidentally got up there because just the way the corner went, he got kind of moved out there, and he went up there and found it and went, ooh, that was really fast. Well, now you see the result. 21st to 8th, and he got better as the race went on. He was passing some really good cars. I watched him go by the 45, the 28, the 34X, and the 59. I watched him drive around them. There's some experience there, a lot. Really, really good start for Brock. So super encouraged at watching him kind of come through last year in his Sportsman days, and literally the first laps in a 358 were his heat race. No
That's
practice,
insane.
no testing, nothing.
I mean, he
So,
ran there quite a bit in the Sportsman, so at least
yes.
he's been on the track before, in something sort of similar. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was super fun to watch, and there's a lot of cool things from this. Like Cody Fletcher, man, 2 wins already this year. Last year he got their first. He picked up his first win at this race. Didn't win the rest of the season. Comes out here in 2026, wins at Lincoln, their first week. Wins at BAPS, so the BAPS 358 opener. What a start for Cody.
Yeah.
He looks slim. He looks happy. He's thrilled. Car looks really, really good. Derek Locke doing Derek Locke things. It was cool to see him move forward, had some speed, some really aggressive stuff. Eli Tuckey, man, great freaking job. Eli's a gasser, man. When there's some grip, he'll find it and he wants to go. So that's super cool. Held off Cole Young. Cole Young and Adam Carberry. I only saw one slider, but it was one of them like felt personal sliders. It was aggressive to say the least between those two. Chase Gutshaw moved forward. It was super cool. Brian Wolf, stood on the pole, fell back to 7th a little bit, but like got some experience racing around fast race cars. Really cool. Steve Wilbur out there looking sporty, looked better all night. There's just so many cool things to take away from this, other than our buddy Jaden.
Yeah, that's tough.
It sucks, man. I was just talking to some folks, some buddies, in the pits, and just talking about Jaden, and like, man, Jaden could win 10 races this year. Like, as long as his stuff stays together. It's there, man. That car is so fast. Jaden's pumped up, ready to go. And we're not even out of March yet. So I know I shared it on the post on our page last night. Like, get this kid into a ride, something. He needs to keep driving. He is a talent to be reckoned with in Central Pennsylvania in the future, but someone's got to give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I hope we see him sooner than later in something. Someone helps him out. I don't want that to take away from anyone else out there. Like, I don't want that. But he's a guy that, man, all the talent in the world. We just gotta keep him on the racetrack.
If that motor could have just held on a couple more laps, it probably was going to be toast anyway after that feature, regardless. But at least maybe he would have been at least celebrating victory lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it was smoking for a while.
Watching the highlights, I didn't realize he was that close. To taking the lead during all that. It was cars everywhere, and I kind of lost track of who was where, and I knew he was moving, but holy shit, I didn't realize he was there. Like,
he was there for a little bit too, you know what I mean? Like, for a couple laps, and yeah, he looked fast, and you could just see, like, there was times where they had when they would show, and he was just closing car lengths up going into the corners at times.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive run by Jay, and it sucks though that motor let go, and that's what happened. Santos, to a couple fan comments here. Going back, Racing Fan asks, anyone know what happened to Lance? I don't think anything happened to Lance. I don't, he
finished.
He finished. He still finished 7th, I believe.
7th?
Yeah, he finished 7th. He fell back 2 spots, but just couldn't really move forward. He started 5th, went back to 7th, kind of ran there the whole time. I think the top 5 in front of him were just so good, to be honest. And, I don't really know. I didn't watch. I don't think anything happened, but if anybody else knows something, chime on in here. Santos says, what's crazy is what if Brock doesn't opt for the rear in his heat and makes the redraw? Well, then maybe he doesn't learn anything. Maybe he doesn't learn what it took to pass those cars and everything. You know what I mean? But yeah, you never know if he would have been able to start up front. Who knows? But I don't. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. I think this is just as valuable of him starting in the back there, learning some different surfaces there, and I think he did the right thing. You know what I mean? Aunt Bay, this is Cody Fletcher's the new king of day shows. Shout out Aunt Bay. How about the 45 of Tim Wagaman? The Shane Smith car, formerly the 00 that was run by Kyle Spence. Now Tim Wagaman in there, and the 45 in the Jeff Rohrbaugh tribute car, looked awesome. Great paint scheme. Awesome, fantastic job by BAPS and everybody for doing the tribute all day long. It was really awesome. Really, really, just a really, really good day, it seemed like. And but it was good to see that car out there and see not just the car, but also Tim out there.
I'll tell you this: the one thing that I don't know if the cameras caught or was on TV. Jeff came down to victory lane with Troy, and he sat there. They kind of wheeled him up close, and to Troy, and he goes, "Now that's a sprint car race. Like, holy shit, that was good." He was so pumped up, man. It was so cool. Jeff was so excited, and he was hyping up Troy and the show that he got to watch, like all of us did. And
yeah,
man, he was so excited in victory lane. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, it just seemed like an all around awesome day. Cincinnati Racing, Tom Cincinnati, who started, like I said, he started up there in the top 5, looked pretty decent early on.
Dude, he won a heat going away.
Yeah, he won a heat going away. He looked awesome. He said, "Amen, Jay Z was awesome having some track to experiment with, talking about the track surface there." Tyler Koenig also says, "I'm so excited to have 6 more races up there this year. Thank you, BAPS, for giving us 7 races. Man, if the next 6 are anything like that, that's going to be awesome, and they're going to be must see." Tyler Murray, when are you getting a ride in the 2-seater oh my God, 2-seater stock Jay-Z? That's like a tongue twister. I was watching it at home and I'm like, man, what do I need to do to get in there? That's awesome.
So,
I want to do that so bad.
yeah, I would absolutely do it. And man, my computer is lagging so bad. Am I good on connect?
Yeah, you seem pretty good so far. It did spin. I think
Okay, it's
was
just
it
like lagging out. I might have to restart my computer.
I think they said Gary Ferguson was in the one, and is that when it spun out? They did a 360 in turn 4.
Yes, Gary was in it when it spun out. Yeah. Yeah, he was in it when it spun out, and he was loving it. He had his hand out the window
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Yeah,
oh
let's
yeah, he was
go." He was
fist
hyped.
pump. That was awesome. Did the camera catch Jeff roll out to the fence and salute the field? I don't remember. I don't believe so. But they did show him in victory lane there with Troy. They did show that, and so I'm taking pictures and
Oh,
everything. So
good.
that was cool. Yeah. And they showed a lot of that, a lot of the interview that they did with him out on the front stretch. Also, they did one with Tim back there as well. Yeah, it just seemed like an awesome day. It was a long one. Don't get me wrong. You know, it was worth it in the end, but I was watching that, and I was also watching on the side the NASCAR race. The NASCAR race started an hour later, and then ended right when the 410 feature ended. So it was a long day, but I mean, they did everything that they could to make the best out of a not ideal situation. They did a fantastic job and knocked it out of the park. All I had to do is go down and sign up. Well, I'm going down and signing up then because I want to do that. Any other thoughts do you have from this, Jay-Z, before we move on?
Yeah, one other thing, and I'm gonna, as you go to the next thing, I'm gonna restart my computer and I'll jump back in.
Okay.
The infield parking, fullest I've seen it yet. There was
Yeah,
probably 20 vehicles in there.
Yeah.
That infield parking's becoming a hit. It was so cool. I could hear people cheering behind me as I was in 1 and 2, yelling at each other between their trucks, and I was showing them pictures of stuff that I saw, and I was like, and the people were eating it up, man. That is so cool that like it's available, because that infield isn't packed with people yet. But like you can roll your vehicle in there, your truck, your SUV, your whatever, and stand on the tailgate and get a great view.
What it looked like there was like, was there like either like a flatbed or like a dump truck sort of type of car that they had down towards maybe it looked like there was a bunch of I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell exactly, but it almost looked like a flatbed or something in there where they had a bunch of people on it. They kind of like made their own little makeshift thing to sit on. The more it goes on, the more, because there's things that I think of every time I do it. Usually I'm one of those trucks in there. So and it's awesome. I love it. But yeah, it did. It looked really packed. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Very cool.
All
All right, I'll be
go
right back.
go start it. Autumn says, I know next time I'm there, I'm parking in the infield. Hopefully gives me a different scene to shoot. It will. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe aren't necessarily media credentialed or whatever, and you know, but just want to take, you know, just kind of take some pictures for themselves and try it out. And that's a good spot, because if you have a truck at least or something that you could stand on, you could see over the fence and see the entire track and get some good shots. And not just that, just as a fan, you get to see everything, and it's awesome. I love it. And I do wish that maybe we could figure out a way to do that at more tracks, because I would do it. I would pay $20 every time, well, just about every time to do it. Did I see the champagne shower in Victory Lane? I did. Oh yeah, there goes. Magby says that was Ricky Hockenberry work truck flatbed with the sides. Okay. All right. Good. I thought so. I'm like, that's a great idea. I mean, they had like a whole thing going on. Telling you, it's awesome. All right. I did not see the I kind of saw the champagne shower in Victory Lane, or lack thereof. There was uh, the Jeremy actually is like, oh, because I wasn't sure why Troy got his car got towed out of Victory Lane. I guess because of a flat right rear, and but it was all that laying there in front of the car. And Jeremy's like, "I don't know, it was maybe the motor was puking something." They're like, "No, that was the champagne shower." So, that was funny though. It was cool. Alright. We're gonna go to high limit here. Tuesday night, talking about another really, really good feature. There was a lot of really good races this week. Um, but Tuesday night on Flow and also on FS1, um, live, was high limit at Vado Speedway Park in New Mexico, where Aaron Reitzel got the win over Tyler Courtney, Ryan Timms, Brent Marks, Chase Randall, Logan Seavey, Tanner Thorson, Cy Lynch, Kerry Matson, and Giovanni Selzy, your top 10. Your quick time was Aaron Reitzel. He also won a heat race along with Tyler Courtney, Cy Lynch, and Danny Sams. And your hard charger, who, man, if he had like 3 or 4 more laps, was probably winning this thing. Ryan Timms from 10th to 3rd. Um, some really good battles here. Logan Seavey, he ends up finishing 6th here, but he ran really well. He started second. For a while, it was the 87 versus the 87. Between for a portion of this race, and then at the end, it got really really racy, and you had a lot of battles. And here comes Ryan Timms, just absolutely ripping the top, um, right there at the end, and he ends up getting third. Um, but like I said, if he had maybe 3 or 4 more laps, he might be winning this thing. But Aaron Reitzel was the class of the field pretty much all night. Um, and I thought it was a great race to one of these 5 or 6, I believe, that they're showcasing on FS1. And I thought this was a great sorry, Jay-Z. I thought this was a great representation of the sport and a great one to show to fans who maybe, one, don't have flow racing, or two, just don't watch sprint car racing as much, but maybe are NASCAR fans or F1 fans or whatever, motorsport fans in general. Get to go and see a race like that. And I know for me, I'd be hooked. You know what I mean? Looking at I saw some of the TV numbers, and they got it was the same amount of people that watched on Flow that watched on FS1, which was like 90,000 apiece, which is, seeing that number also goes to show maybe a little bit into that charter agreement. I mean, 90,000 on a Tuesday night, that's crazy for a streaming service, but then 90,000 on a cable television network is pretty good too. So, um, but anyway, just fantastic race. We're talking about Vado on Tuesday night. Jay-Z, what were your thoughts from this?
Um, I had it on Fox. I could have had it on Flow, but I turned on Fox. I wanted to get that rating for that. I guess it really didn't matter. I think last year I had it on Fox on my TV and Flow on my phone. I didn't have that this year, but um, good race. A really, really good race. I think the track prep made it kind of weird where the bottom got really good.
Yeah.
Moisture came up or whatever the case may be. So the cars looked all kind of balled up and tight, and lap traffic was kind of crazy, but it was still really, really good. And High Limit has had some fantastic racing this year. They
Yeah.
really, really have. So I think I saw some stuff on X with race director and like panicking, making sure they got it in the time window, and they just got it in the time window. For TV, it fit in just right. They really did a nice job moving along and making it. You know, they still had built some value in. The High Limit way, and then the racing was really, really good. So, man, I don't think there's a whole lot to complain about.
No, no, everything was no. I like I said, like I was saying when you were coming back in, I think it's just a great representation of the sport to get it out there. And high limit race, like I've been saying it pretty much since they started, but especially the past year, like I just think the racing is so good. There's a lot of parity, you know. Just, I don't know what it is, but it just and it's nothing against the Outlaws because I still love the Outlaws, but I just always feel satisfied walking away after watching a high limit race. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's the roster where there's like you kind of have a villain in Aaron Reitzel, I guess, but I'd even mind seeing him win this one. But there's nobody I really love or hate here. Obviously I'm going to pull for Brent, but you know, I don't know what it is. I don't. I don't know if it's the presentation or it's just the total package that I just end up walking away always feeling satisfied. It doesn't even have to be the best race, but it still feels like a really great race every time.
I think it's the roster. I think it's the personalities. I think it's the mix of all of it because I mean, you have on any given night, Rico, Reitzel, Courtney, Brent, Thorson, who's had a great start, Geo, Peck, just personally, like the stories around each one,
Yeah.
where they're at in their journey, their recent history, like Courtney coming back from injury, Tanner with the coilover, like there's just storylines everywhere up and down, and you don't know on any given night who's going to win these races.
Mhm.
And the top five is a mixed bag of where they are on any given night. I mean, Thorson's having one hell of a season, points leader, and he finished seventh here.
Mhm.
Tyler Courtney's been kind of non-existent to start the year. P2
Yeah.
was all there, right? So like, I just think the storylines are and again that parity. Which, listen, I know that there's not a driver in the field that loves parity because they all want to win every race. But it's putting on a better show. It's just putting on great shows right now. And I don't want to
Yeah.
say better because I'm not comparing the two. But listen, there's some comparisons every weekend.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying like you. I'm agreeing with you, and I'm enjoying it. And we're going to talk about the Outlaws, in here in a little bit, and like the show that Kofoid, that the slider, like fantastic, just great. But we don't see that every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we get something with these races every night at high limits on the racetrack. So listen, it's sprint cars, and they're doing what they're not doing anything different. It just the roster makeup and where they're at right now. This is what we're getting.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because it's a little bit still newer, fresher, but I just think they do a fantastic job with the total package, and yeah, I think the roster is a big part of it. It allows for a lot of parity. I will say Rico's finishes 12th here. He's making me look awful because I have really and listen, it's early. There's still a lot that can go on, and we know the season really, for these points battles and everything. We've seen it a lot with David Gravel, any champion. We've seen it a lot with where you get that, that May, June, July, August stretch, the races out around the major events, um, just going out and knocking off a bunch of wins, sweeping weekends, much like Gravel did last weekend. I still think Rico's capable of that, even with as good as this roster is. um, but I mean, a 12th place finish here. I just not expecting. I'm expecting him to be close to the top five almost every week, and you know, it's early though, so give him a little bit of time here and see with the whole news, with the merger with TSR and everything. But a little bit of a letdown so far, but still strong. I mean, he's still going to be a threat every night to win. Let's go to Friday night. Actually, I want to get to a couple of your comments here. Um, JT22 says, speaking of high limit, we could see some teams in Pennsylvania the next 2 weeks. Yes, we're gonna when we talk about the schedule later. Both the Outlaws are off for a week, and then high limits off for 2 weeks. So we'll probably see some of those teams back home. For to kind of recalibrate themselves for the next part of the schedule. But you'll probably see some teams probably running around here, which would be cool. Alex Robinson, what's going on, Alex? Can Mother Nature please start playing nice? I think it's been actually. I mean, obviously you hate to see any races get canceled, but I think the weather's been actually pretty decent for this time of year, to be honest. But yeah, it would be nice to. It's starting to warm up this week, and we'll talk about that too.
I read the 13, the Book team with Holmes.
Yes,
They're going to be in PA the next two
they're going to
weeks.
be in
So
PA.
might see some, depending on what races are coming up, like you said. See a couple more. I don't know if Brent's coming home. he usually last couple of years he's made a start here or there when they're at home, when they're off for a couple weeks. Sometimes he just sat it out.
Hmm.
But wouldn't surprise me at all, like Brenham Crouch.
Yeah.
Um, Brent, we've seen some of these other guys travel a
Sky
little bit.
Lynch, maybe, who
Like
knows?
Gage Polkerbeck has come
Yeah, I
to
don't know.
Central PA.
Yeah.
We've seen the 55 here with Schoenberg
Hmm.
over time at Port Royal. So,
You never know.
uh, you know,
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me at all for sure.
The only one we really know for sure is Tanner Holmes because
Yeah.
he went out on social media and talked about it. So uh Santos says Mandy says, yeah, High Limit hasn't had a bad race yet this season. Santos says it's because David Gravel wins so much. Whereas High Limit has a variety of winners of late. That helps. I mean, the parity helps a little bit, but I mean, even David Gravel winning doesn't usually bother me in terms of that. Um, Magby High Limit brings more fun energy. Outlaws bring more professional, less fun energy. Maybe I don't know. That could be part of it. Jeff says I think a lot of it is the tracks, smaller tracks. High Limit or Outlaws have been going to similar tracks too. They've been going to some different places as well. So, um, but yeah, I don't know. It could be that. I just think it's the total package that kind of just gives that vibe right now. All right, let's go to Friday. If it would go here. Come on. There we go. Friday, Route 66 Motor Speedway in Amarillo, Texas, where Tanner Thorson gets the win over Aaron Reitzel, Justin Peck, Dason Persley, Tanner Holmes, Brent Marks, Hank Davis, Sam Haferteep Jr., Kerry Matson, and Giovanni Selzy, your top 10. Quick time was Kerry Matson, also your hard charger. He went 19th to 9th because he missed the transfer, or really there's only 22 cars here, but he had to finish in the top 6, I think, or top 5 in order to get into the redraw. He ended up having them change a motor after that heat. Um, Starts 19th, doesn't get into the redraw, charges his way up into the top 10. Brent Marks, Justin Peck, and Tanner Thorson all won heat races. Um, yeah, just Tanner Thorson again, just looking real. He had to really hold off. Aaron Reitzel was faster there at the end, for sure. But Tanner was doing a great job through lap traffic and just kind of, and he even said, he knew he had to aero block him basically and just kind of run enough to where Reitzel couldn't get a good enough run on him to pass him, and he did his job there, and he did a fantastic job of it. Tanner's been super impressive. We talked about it pretty much since the jump, and he's just continues this. Another week of this and getting another win.
Yeah, I lost connection, I guess, after this restart, so I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Go Tanner Thorson.
um, Dason Persley with a good run here. There was some talk, and I know there's a Sprint Car Unlimited thing, and I think Santos might have been the one somebody said it in our chat last week about, man, he's on a short lease with Casey Kane, and it's like, and I know Jeremy Elliott even said, like, give it some time, man. Like, it's been a couple races. He's a young
Yeah.
driver. Like, give it some time. Like, there's no way they're kicking him out, unless he was really stupid and tore up a bunch of race cars. There's no way I see him getting out of that car. And I don't think they put him in that car if he was going to be the type of guy that was going to be really is he going to make a stupid mistake here and there? Sure. He's young, but he's a really talented driver. And, I don't see it. It's just kind of crazy talk that we're talking about drivers losing their rides already after 6, 7 races, but we've seen it before. So, but I don't think that's the case here with Ethan Persley, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with you. And could anything happen? Sure. But the KKR team doesn't strike me as like fly by the seat of their pants, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not the way this is ran. This is ran by professionals. And yes, it's sprint car racing and anything can happen, but they made an investment in Dason. And it's not like Dason came to them with a bunch of money. He was
Right.
their pick.
Yeah.
Right? He was their pick to be the future of this car in Napa, and obviously Napa probably had to sign off on this. And hey, Napa, they probably know, hey, this guy's had 50 wing 410 starts. That's it. Young guy, uber talented. We think he has a bright future. We're investing in him. This year may not, we're not going to probably compete for a championship. That's always our goal, but they're made an investment. I talked about guys that could be on a hot seat are guys that have been in cars for a long time and aren't getting the job done.
Yeah.
This is very, very different.
Yeah.
He has to have a leash to make some mistakes. It would just be unfair for them to invest all that and knowing he's young and knowing he's going to make mistakes. Like he ain't going nowhere unless he just self detriment, like it just implodes himself and says, I'm out. They're not going to do it. So, I'd be more concerned about, like I talked about before, and this isn't happening, but a guy like, a Carson Macedo, right? Hey, man,
Which
like,
after this
like,
week,
hey, this ain't getting the job done, my friend. You've been here a long time. Like, and again, that was one of my weird, bold predictions at the beginning of the year. But that's the kind of driver you look at, like, Knoxville, Eldora, time of the year, change
Yeah,
to
we're
be
gonna make
made.
a change, put somebody else
That
in
would
there.
be that type of team, if or driver combo. So yeah, I just don't see. Yeah, I agree with you
Yeah,
here.
Dason's like the last one that I could imagine. Santos says, I just said he's been tearing up a bunch of stuff or a bunch of shit. I'm not saying he has a short leash. You did. You kind of said how long till he's out. But that's now 3 or 4 torn up race cars. Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it's not like that 9 car is going to be hurting for money or for cars. You know what I mean? Like they're not. They're definitely well equipped and have been here before. And honestly, out of those wrecks that he's had, I can only think of one where I could think of like that's like his fault. Like the one he got pushed up into the wall. The other one he just kind of got rolled over. Um, I mean it's just part of it. I don't think, like I said, unless he tore up like 10 more race cars for some reason,
Oh
I don't
yeah, if
see
this
that.
kept going, yeah, maybe they
Mm,
evaluate 2027. But at this point, it's like, okay, have you progressed? Have you gotten better? Have we gelled? Do we have the right people around you? Right, like they're making an investment in him.
mhm.
Sure, could they evaluate for 2027 if things just don't go better? But
Yeah.
I would say he wouldn't be the first one to be changed if there was gonna be
And
changes.
it's so early to be talking about 2027 when we just started
I
2026, you
know.
know what I mean?
We're
So
not even out of March.
we're not even out of March yet. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you could ask the hypothetical question, but give it some time. Give it some time. I think that's same with a couple of these other drivers. Tanner Holmes is another one. He's honestly, maybe I missed the mark on Tanner Holmes. I think not that I thought Tanner Holmes was bad, but I did not think that he would be having these stronger runs this early. Um, he's been pretty impressive. Go looking at 10th, 11th, and 12th here. Giovanni Selzi, decent, still a new program there, but I think some people are expecting a little bit more out of him. Tyler Courtney 11th and Rico another 12th place finish. Like those are guys that are like those are the ones that like kind of like hey, kind of head scratchers. But you have these nights, right? So like you can't just take them in a vacuum there. um yeah, but Tanner Thorson, someone said and Andy said coilovers are officially cool then. Cool again. How much longer until we start seeing other people go to coilovers because Tanner Thorson's winning so much?
You won't.
Yeah, I know. But it is funny.
It's yeah, I
Because
mean,
it's
this
we know
the
how monkey
business
see monkey do
yes, it
motorsports is.
is, but there no. Mm-mm.
But
Maybe next year is start of a year, but you're not
yeah,
doing it
if he
now in the
won like
middle.
if he won the title or something, maybe. You know what I mean? Like won another 7, 8, 9 races and won the high limit title. Yeah, maybe you'll probably see some.
There's
But
only one Stevie Smith out there to
yeah.
help, and he has a lot of years and experience on them. There's only one of those guys around. It's one Stevie Smith, excuse me.
Mhm.
Dave Blaney out there, blah blah blah. But like, no,
Yeah,
he,
yeah.
he's one of a kind for sure in this case.
Brett Perigo's gonna go to coilovers. You watch and wait and see. I'm kidding.
God, he'd have to spend money.
Oh, that's true. Shout out, Brett. Looking at after this one, Saturday was canceled. So here are the point standings where Tanner Thorson is still your leader, 21 points over Aaron Reitzel. Rico and Gio tied there for third. 60 points back of Tanner, and then it's Tyler Courtney, Kerry Madsen, Justin Peck, Brett Marks, Jason Persley, and Tanner Holmes, your top 10. Yeah, Tanner's been so impressive. I mean, just we're gonna talk about him again here as we get into the Outlaws, but um, we'll see if he can keep it up. I hope he can. There was it's an unexpected, not unexpected because I kind of figured, like I said, I think I said this last week. I kind of put him in like tier of kind of between him, Brent, Justin Peck, maybe Geo kind of there, that fourth, fifth, sixth. And maybe that's what it ends up being. Maybe Rico finds his footing. Aaron's going to keep doing what he's doing. Tyler Courtney is kind of another one we expect to do a little bit better. But man, just a hell of a start for Tanner, and hope he can keep it going. It's awesome to see that team grow and another full-time team like that, and another guy like Tanner up there.
I agree that I've been pleasantly surprised and wrong on some of it. But at the same time, we probably should have seen the writing on the wall a little bit because that 13 car set a lot of quick times last year
Yeah.
with Dason. It
Yeah.
does time well. Let's put a whole night together now, right? Like do it all. And he's timed well. Been better than I expected.
I was talking about Tanner Thorson, but yeah, Tanner Holmes.
Oh, I thought you said
I didn't. I was talking about Thorson, but yeah, Tanner Holmes though is too. He's another one that's impressive. Both Tanners.
Tanner Thorson's a different level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just otherworldly right now for sure. My apologies. Yeah. Anyway, good job, Jimmy. I'm here. I'm paying attention.
I might have said Holmes. I don't know, but Tanner Holmes, no, he's another one that like I'm hoping he can keep it up because you're right, because Dason did do pretty well that last half of the year in that 13 car last year. I'm sure Holmes will have some ups and downs as well, as he gets, first time being out on the road full time and everything. But I mean, he did pretty well in the Shark car when he was in there. So maybe I'm saying I think I missed the mark on him a little bit because, should expect because he has have some experience. I'm thinking he's coming
When you
in
said
here
missed the mark, when you said missed the mark, I thought you were talking about Holmes.
Yeah.
But the whole world missed it on Thorson.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody had this like, hey, improves. We talked about it, right? You got to improve on the bigger tracks, and he can do it. We've seen him win. Nobody had this on theirs of like, hey, title contender, points leader after at the end of March.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, and it's still only like what 10 or 11 races in, or I don't even know if it's that much, but still, like, just the strength that he's shown is impressive. So, all right, let's get to the World of Outlaws. And Friday night, KC Classic at US 36 Raceway. Carson Macedo gets the win over Buddy Kofoid, David Gravel, Sheldon Haudenschild, Emerson Axum, Cole Macedo, Donnie Schott, Scott Pobguski, Logan Chiarda, and Reese Moran, your top 10. Quick time was David Gravel, along with the heat race win for him and Buddy Kofoid and Cole Macedo. And your hard charger using a provisional 25th to 13th, Spencer Baston. Good win here for Carson Macedo. He's been sneakily strong, I think, and finally gets a win here and gets himself back into victory lane to really kind of remind people like, hey, I'm here, because he's been really fast this year. I think kind of coming out the gate pretty strong and keeping right up with Buddy and Gravel for sure.
I fell asleep, didn't see any of this one. Good job, Carson.
Yeah, he was really fast in this one. Cole Macedo was pretty good. It was him and both the brothers started on the front row. Cole did something to his front wing. It was already collapsed after like the second lap. He fell back here to 6th, but still a strong run for Cole. But Carson just looked really fast all night, and he's looked really fast all year. Going to Saturday night. Why did I do that? Come on. All right. Going to Saturday night, the Tall Grass Tussle at 81 Speedway. This one was good. So high limit cancel. So you get some high limit drivers making the 2-hour trip down. And then this one, the story of the race is what's going on in the picture here. Ryan Timms and Buddy Kofoid battling for the lead. Buddy was started on the pole, was leading. Ryan Timms kind of did what Freddie kind of did to Andy Best, and kind of just throws a slider, thinks he's clear, he's not, and kind of throws that right rear. And luckily, Buddy's able to keep it going, and he ends up running them back down. To Ryan Timms at points here was 5 seconds ahead of Buddy Kofoid, and Buddy used lap traffic and ended up re-catching him and makes a last turn pass, or a last lap pass basically to win this over Ryan Timms. Cole Macedo was got a podium. Carson Macedo, man, 22nd to 4th, plus 18, hard charger. He was on an absolute run. Donnie Schatz, David Gravel, Garrett Williamson, Logan Short, Brent Marks, and Sheldon Hansfield, your top 10 heat race winners were Cole Macedo, Donnie Schatz, David Gravel, and Bill Baylog. And David Gravel was also not just quick time, but also set a new track record. Track was really bumpy. The first group that went out, there was 19. They ended up having enough cars where they split them into 2 groups for qualifying. 18 out of the 19 cars gave a thumbs up. One driver did give a thumbs down. I think we find out later on who that is. It was probably Tanner Thorson, because he ends up leaving after his time trial effort before his heat, saying he didn't want to risk the car. His commitments to the high limit series. So he just did not. He didn't time trial awful. He was like 11th or 12th, I think, in his group, and not great, but it was about mid pack, and but he ends up packing up and leaving, which ended up being a thing. But I'm going to assume when Johnny said that at 18 out of the 19, and he was in that group, gave a thumbs up and one gave a thumbs down, I'm going to assume it was him, but I could be wrong. But it was bumpy. It was fast. They ended up doing a pretty extensive track rework, and it had some character to it, but it ended up putting on a really good feature, and you could pass, and it was tight racing. It was a fun race.
Yeah. That slider that Buddy threw was like, well, why not? And it worked. It's unbelievable. Great ending to this one. Donnie Schatz looked really good all
Yes,
night.
he did. Yeah.
Time trials, he set quick time in Group A, I believe, which at that time was the track record. And David had to do David things and steal it from him. But super good run for Donnie. Carson Macedo, great job. The Tanner Thorson thing and the internet, like, the internet's a wild place. We know that. And it's full of negativity. And it didn't disappoint with the negativity toward Tanner Thorson and all the comments. And I think most people were genuinely like joking about it, but the people that actually like felt some kind of way that he packed up and left is just like, I don't know. I don't know. To complain about that, like, what's he have to prove? He didn't even have to be there. He didn't even have to drive. He didn't have to drive the 2.5 hours to even show up at all. And then you're actually going to give the guy shit for packing up and saying, "Hey, we're good. I need to focus on what I'm supposed to focus on. We came here, and if everything was, whatever, it's his choice and absolutely his right to do this, because this race literally does not matter
Yeah.
to him
It was cold
and
and
them and that
windy.
team."
It was cold and windy. It did not make for ideal track conditions, for sure, and that definitely factored into it. I'm sure, you know, I think the only thing you could kind of say there is, hey, you kind of knew what the weather was going to be when you went there. You knew it was going to be windy and everything, but you probably don't expect, if there's not a big hole there in turn 1 like there was, maybe it's not as bad, you know what I mean? So he made a business decision, and I don't blame him. And again, if he would have qualified in the top 5 of his group, then it would have been really weird, because then it's like you kind of have a shot here, but once you qualify kind of mid pack, then why are you going to go there and try to get something tore up? I totally get it. Clayton Myers, Tad surprised more high limit drivers didn't race to get some laps at 81 since they'll be there in a few weeks. The only thing you got a couple. You got Dason Pursley, you had Tanner, you had Brent Marks. So
Kerry
there's three
Madsen.
right there. Kerry Matson, so there's four. Um, and then maybe the rest just kind of, maybe they saw, hey, it's gonna be windy, and I don't want to make that 2 hour drive. You know what I mean? And there's no point in it. But yeah, it would have been cool to see a couple more. But there was a couple. There was a good amount of them on hand, and um, it didn't matter anyway because it was Buddy versus Ryan Timms there at the end. Um, Billy Dietrich says the track is just like the host of this show. Lots of characters. Thank you, Billy. It did. It was kind of rough, especially turn one. They got it better for the feature for sure. They did a pretty extensive rework. I think was it after time trials before the heats. They did a pretty extensive rework, and it was better, but it still was going to be bumpy and windy. And they had a great crowd on hand. People there were jacked up. They were not deterred by the cold. So I think overall it was a fantastic night for them. You know what I mean? Just kind of on that line there of safety, of course. But again, Tanner made a business decision, and I don't blame him at all for it.
So, Billy's comment, teams have been doing this for years. I think that's in reference to, packing up and going home when they
Yeah.
don't love, not loving the surface. So, in fairly recent history, this has happened around here. So, if anybody in the comments remembers, and Billy, you probably remember your brother did it sometime in the last 5 years somewhere. It might have been Ohio. It was regionally. I don't know if it was like here, but just said F it and said,
Is it
no,
Ohio
this is
Speedway?
don't agree with it.
Mhm.
But there was one where like a bunch left or something or here in the last year or two. And again, I don't knock them for it. They got, it's their decision, their safety, and what they feel comfortable with. If anybody remembers where that was, it was Western PA, Ohio, somewhere, one of these obscure kind of tracks, I think. If anybody remembers that, I don't know if it was like West Virginia Motor Speedway or PPMS or I don't know. Someone's going to remember this and bring it up, but there was a couple of these examples over the last few years here and there. It was kind of like one of them deals where it was like you didn't have to be there, made the trip, and it was real shitty, um, dry or man, what was that race? Oh, I think Billy might have been there. That one, it was like crazy dusty, couldn't see anything, unsafe, bad. Shit, recently,
Lima Land. I was gonna say
remember.
Lima Land. Lima Land was one of them where I think people drove out. There was one. Was it last year or the year before? It was around here. I can't remember which track, but it was like rainy, and we're kind of like dicking around, seeing if we're gonna get it in. And it was awful. Like it was just kind of shitty. And teams started packing up and loading up, and just like, well, I guess that made the decision for the track because once they start seeing a couple people drive out, it's like, oh, and then now we're gonna cancel because at the time they weren't gonna cancel.
Seen that. Yeah.
And so that sometimes it speaks volumes.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody remembers any of those in the comments, it'd be funny to revisit that, like you hear it and you're just like, yeah, I don't blame them, if it was that bad. But what like bumpy, rutted up or, muddy, I don't remember what it was. I thought there was one with like major dust somewhere that some teams ran, but then a couple left or something. I last year, the year before, I don't know. Somebody will probably have it in the comments, but yeah, anyway,
Yeah,
moving on.
stuff happens all the time, just like Billy said. And again, Tanner had no reason to stay really to risk it. Brett Marks though, solid top 10 here. He is one that went there. Kerry Madsen P12, Jason Pursley P13. So High Limit didn't show out too bad. With the guys that they did have out there. Um, I got to give a
Small
shout
bass
out.
special. Oh, tall grass tussle. That's
Tall small pass. Want to give a shout out to uh, kind of Landon Crawley because he's in one of our discords and we've been kind of memeing him up a little bit because of something that him and I think Brett Strickler got into it in one of our league races online, and we were busting his balls, and it was funny because he popped in yesterday and we made a meme off of the Dirt Vision broadcast, and he came in. He's like, I kind of figured this was going to happen. So just want to give
I
him.
knew this was coming.
Yeah,
I
I knew
knew I
this
was
was
going to see this
coming.
when I got here.
He takes ball busting pretty good. Shout out Landon Crawley. But yeah, anything else from this one?
No. Their AMP A PPMS was bad last year opening day. You couldn't see
Yeah, that was
nose
pretty
wing
bad.
bad. Yeah. I remember seeing pictures of that thing. When Atomic got a bunch of criticism from Brandon. Billy said we did that Sportsman Speedway a few years ago.
Swordsman
Showed up,
Speedway.
track was a mess, loaded up before turning a lap.
Latrobe's
Yeah, like
another one. Yeah.
yeah. It had that my brain was going to that like one-off type, Dog Hollow or
Dog.
whatever track,
Yeah.
Dog's Asshole out in Western PA or something, like yeah. But anywho, yeah, no, nothing else here. Was Ryder LaPlante that took that big ride?
Yeah, he took a pretty big
Was
ride.
he okay? I missed this somewhere along the
He
line.
he needed a little bit of help to get out. But he ended up being okay. I haven't heard of anything, and if anybody knows if they've seen an update from him, let us know. But he took a really vicious wreck here, in the feature there.
Yeah, there. Danny packed up during Ohio Speed Week at Wayne
Wayne
County a couple
County.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew I remembered something like that happening, which again, hey, you make the tow, you're paying the bills and in your safety, you don't feel safe in one of these monsters.
Yeah.
I don't blame these guys a bit or for any other reason. I don't care with the reason, to be honest.
Tony Sharp. We had a night like that at the Grove either last year or the year before. It was really bad conditions. We were going to try it. Management asked the drivers, and they agreed canceling was a better idea. Yeah, there was one, and I can't remember. Like I said, Ryder Plant is sore but okay, according to the team. I can't remember. Thank you, Mandy. I can't remember what track it was, but I remember it was like, oh, we're going to wait and see, give it a little bit. We didn't make a decision yet. And then as they're saying that, you see 3 or 4 haulers just load it up and start pulling out. And it's like, well, and then about 5 minutes later, it's like, yeah, we're going to cancel. And it's like, well, yeah, no shit. You just lost half, you just lost. You're losing teams. They're making the choice for you. So,
Do you remember the night at the Grove a couple years ago when they moved all the haulers out to the
outside.
back? Did
Yeah.
we race that night or did that end up canceling? I think that ended up canceling because they still couldn't get
Yeah,
the
they couldn't
rest.
get
Like the track was good, but it was like access
everything
roads and
else.
places
Yeah.
they couldn't get done. That might have been, maybe it was that night because I remember it was like empty in there. We were all kind of hyped because you can see everything. Like, but they couldn't get the rest of the like access roads to the scales and whatever else dry enough to actually run, and they ended up canceling.
Yeah.
That was a mess that night. Whew.
Well, looking at the, come on. There we go. Looking at the points for the Outlaws, David Gravel's still on top, but Carson Macedo is second, closing in a little bit. He's now only 48 points behind. Sheldon Hodenshield third, having a nice consistent year like Santos was talking about before. Buddy Kofoid is fourth, Donnie Schatz, Logan Schuhart, Garrett Williamson, Chris Wyndham, Cole Macedo, and Bill Baylog, your top 10. Yeah, David Gravel, solid weekend. Obviously, he just swept it last weekend, but guys like Carson, Sheldon, Donnie, Buddy, they're keeping him honest. You know what I mean? So now David Gravel he's had the past couple, the past 2 nights, he's had some really bad redraws in the dash. So, but he didn't really come forward at all in his features too much either. So, yeah, hopefully he's definitely still the cream of the crop, still definitely the best out there. But it's fun. I think that's the most intriguing part of the Outlaws is can these guys, can Macedo, can Hodenshield, can Buddy, can these guys keep him in check and give him a run for his money and not have him run away with it and win some more races? And I think right now we're kind of seeing that. Yeah, I think they can.
I mean, they can, but dude,
Will they?
if unless this team just forgets how to time trial, it's going to be very difficult because it does not matter when he goes out, what the track's like. This thing freaking time trials, and
Yeah.
barring some they forget how to get the car fast in time trials or some horrible sustained bad luck. I just can't see it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just trying to give some type of of a spin
Hope.
here with some hope that David Gravel isn't just 500 points ahead by the time they get to Knoxville. You know what I mean? But But yeah, I mean, he's the best out there. All right, let's take a look at this weekend. We do have some racing, and that's here locally. And this is kind of what we would call a regular weekend. No posse series races, no series races. Friday night, 410s and 358s at Williams Grove, 7 p.m. start time. And then Saturday, you could either pick and choose between Port Royal and Lincoln. Port Royal will have 410s with group time trials. Past 305s make their season debut, as well as the limited lates at Port Royal Speedway. That'll be on Flow Racing. Or over at Lincoln, you'll have 410s and 358s. That'll also be on PA Posse TV if you can't make it there. Both of those shows are slated to start at 6 p.m., and all 3 races are $25 to get in. Excited for this. Looking at the weather, it looks going to be warm. It does look a little wet, but it doesn't look like. I'm just looking at total rainfall over the course of like 3 days, and it doesn't look like more than like a quarter of an inch over 3 days. So like, and it's going to be warmer Friday right now. Kind of looks up in the air. I'm hoping that I will say it's going to be warm enough. So as long as the moisture stays away for Williams Grove, I mean, we're talking we're going to be near 80 most of the weekend, which is awesome. I'm so here for it. It's going to be about 80 degrees tomorrow. But as long as it doesn't get too much rain and the rain stays away Friday night, I think they get that in. And then Saturday, same thing. You're going to be avoiding moisture, and honestly, like it's going to be warm enough. I'm hoping that it's going to be warm enough that even if if it has a shower or two, you might still be able to work around that. But we'll see what happens. Just very, very interesting. But this is the only racing in town because the Outlaws are off this week for the Easter weekend. They'll be at I-55 next weekend, and then High Limits off for the next 2 weeks, which is why you'll see maybe guys like Tanner Holmes around here. They don't come back until the 17th and 18th when they go out to Missouri. So yeah, here back home at PA, we do have some racing this weekend, and it's looking decent. You know, it's just going to depend on how much rain and when that rain hits.
Yeah, I'm intrigued here. 410's at Port Royal with group time trials on a
Yep.
normal show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we seen that much?
Not
Have we
that
ever
often, to
seen
be
that?
honest. No, I mean we've seen it, but not usually. No, not usually this early in the year. I think they're just doing timed hot laps. Really, is what they're going to be doing. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, but that's what it said on their site. So I'm here for it. I think that's again. You hear a lot of teams pushing more for that, getting it's a never ending debate of I'd rather have time trials so I can control my night, and then there's others that would rather the handicap racing, but it's been a bigger push for that. So group time trials, I'm here for it.
Well, and this sounds like group time trials. So they'll hot laps and then they'll have their group time trials. So I don't
I
think
don't
it's hot lap time trials. I think
I
it's
don't
two,
know.
but it's still group. You time against your
Yeah.
group, which I'm here
I
for.
would
I don't
imagine
care.
I would imagine they would do timed hot laps just because they're gonna have the 305s, they're gonna have the limited late models. But I don't know. That's to be seen. It just said group time trials on their site. So
Yeah. I still would like Lincoln to be hot lap time trials when the 358s are there. 358s go hot lap. Track starts to come in. Group time trials for Lincoln, 3 or 4 at a time. It can be
Mhm.
done. No, the draws. Just I'd rather see the group time trials, hot lap time trials, or a handicap.
Mhm.
Draws, I just
Yeah.
handicap you've earned some way or another, right? Time trials, hot lap time trials, you earn some way or another. A draw, you don't even have your fate in your own hands in a sense. You just don't. So at all. Even a handicap, you've earned that, good or bad.
Right.
Like
That's true. That's
you've
fair. Yeah.
earned it, good or bad. There's a recent performance thing, and yeah, can it be gamed a little bit? Sure. Well, these weekly shows, I don't know. I don't know. There's none of them that are perfect. It just isn't. We've debated this a million years, and it'll always be debated. There's no perfect way to suit the whole roster. I don't know. I just want a racetrack for the 358s to race on. That's all I want.
Yeah,
Can I say that?
yeah.
And yeah, I will be BAPS. I will be at BAPS. What's
BAPS is
their
running Saturday.
Super Sportsman, late models, extreme stocks, and limited stocks.
There you go. And
That's
also, somebody said Brandon Zirk also said Path Valley openers this Saturday as well. So lots of options in the area. I think Greenwood Valley, if you're into micros, is starting right up there, right up the road from me here. So yeah, it's starting to get in that like, hey, you have a plenty of options on a Saturday night, depending on where you're at and what you want to go see. Think Big Diamond opens up.
Big Diamond is open,
I
doing
think
something this weekend.
I could, yeah, Big Diamond. Yeah, it's just all starting to ramp up now. So, very exciting times. It's gonna be 80. It's gonna be nice. I went and got the camper kind of cleaned up yesterday, so maybe I don't know. I probably won't be because we have places to go for Easter on Sunday, so probably won't camp this weekend. But it's getting closer to that time. I'm getting that itch now. Now that the weather's nice. So yeah. I want to go back here to Richard Miller. What did he said something before?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, Jay-Z, your open trailer will be at Lincoln this Saturday, number 76.
Yep. They did a little testing a couple weeks back on their 358. So looks like their opening day is Saturday for that team. Good luck, gentlemen. 91 Logan Spar, the season debut will be at Lincoln Saturday as well. It looks like
Yeah,
358s might have a decent field, depending on
they
I guess
should.
maybe how Friday night goes. But Lincoln might get a few more cars than their embarrassing show on opening 358 day.
Logan Ramsey said Sunday was the best 358 track I've ever seen. How about that? I mean, yeah, it was pretty
He would
good.
know. He's ran those a few times. Logan, hopefully we see you back out soon, buddy.
Samuel Greenwald says, I'll be at Lincoln with Smith Racing for our first race this year. Can't wait. And he also points out Linda's will have their first race this Friday. So yeah, a lot of them are getting going here. You were at McGrew Bid on Saturday, over 100 micros and micro midgets, or right? PA micro midgets. Is that what they're?
It was
This
it
past
was
Saturday, there was a ton of cars there.
124 on
Oof.
Saturday. It was a lot of cars, a lot of wind, and very low temperatures. My car said 38 degrees when I pulled in the house. I was there like 6 hours. It was a lot. I didn't not enjoy it, but it was a lot. That's all I can say. It was a lot. Racing was good. There was a lot of good racing. There was a lot of really bad. Like there was a car, dude. Look. Everyone starts somewhere. The junior sprints are like you can only run them till you're 12. Didn't have a yellow all day, I think. In all their events, they didn't have a yellow. The restricted 600s, I saw a guy spin out in front of me in 1 and 2, do a 360, keep going. Spun out in 3 and 4 on the same lap. He spun out twice in the same lap, and he couldn't get going that time. I was like, oh my God. The guy he got kicked off the racetrack in his heat and in the feature for spin outs. The same one.
Yeah, you could only. They have the rule that you can only do like if you cause 2 of them, you're done.
Yeah. And he hit the number in both events he was in all day because they didn't have a B. So he got to run the feature and did it in the feature too. I don't know if he made it halfway through the feature. It was bad. There was some bad. There was some bad. There was some really, really good though. Again, that's no knock on like
Yeah.
McGrew Bid or anything. That was just it was a great day of racing. It was a long day of racing, but it was a little frustrating a couple times. But I tell you what, man, the girl that won the junior sprint race, she is an animal. Just drove through the field. She's one of the Whitmer kids, the Jax Whitmer. I forget her first name. Forgive me. She whooped up on all of them. It was cool. It was great to see. It was fun.
You
A
had
lot of freaking cars.
You had it.
God,
lot of time spent at BAPS this past weekend. Then
I was there a lot this weekend. Yes.
Tony Sharp, Bedford just opened Sunday with Short Track Super Series, 90th season for them. How about that? Yeah, that was a fantastic race. A lot of people were talking about that. That's something that you really honestly hear a lot about with Bedford having like a really really good race, but it was a very good race, and there was a little bit of action at the end of that race. A little bit of fighting there down by the scales and all that. So it was exciting.
The guy got threw a bonsai slider to try to win the race and got stuffed in the fence after throwing it, like, and he got mad. Like, well, my brother, the leader was just trying to finish the corner. You happened to be there. You're the one who threw the slider. You put yourself at risk. I don't know why he was so mad. The guy didn't like drive through him. He just finished the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you gonna
I
do?
mean, and you're coming for the win. I, yeah,
um,
good show though. Good show.
yeah. But yeah, Williams Grove Friday, Port Royal and Lincoln on Saturday, as well as Path Valley and BAPS and some of these other tracks getting going on this. It's gonna be a holiday weekend. You got Easter, nothing on Sunday, and then nothing for the Outlaws and nothing for High Limit. I guess drink it, dump it, drink it or dump it. I'm going to go first. I'm going to drink it to our boy Troy Wagaman. What a hell of a win. Shout out to him. Shout out to our boy Ryan Smith too. He was jacked up. Best merch
We
guy
should
out
have the
there.
video.
I
We
know.
should have had the video it for this.
I know. But he kind of pulled a me when Perigo won last year at BAPS, running through the infield, getting all fired up. It was awesome. But just hell of a run there by Troy. Awesome race there by BAPS. And my dump it will go to I'll do it to Ryder LaPlante. He went for a ride that was pretty rough, but glad to hear that he's doing okay.
I'm gonna drink it to Dylan Norris's start to 2026. Hell of a good start. Hopefully, all the equipment stays together. He continues on the path he's on. I think, he had some confidence last year. A lot of there's 358 success he had, and I know talked about they made a lot of changes in the offseason with people, setups, strategies, whatever the case may be, but it's working. So, um, I'll drink it to Dylan for a great start, and I'll dump it to Jaden Wolf.
Yeah.
Feel like I've done that too many times on this show for like, buddy, man, terrible luck. So keep your head up, my friend. Hopefully you get some phone calls, you get some opportunities. Um, you find the funding to get back on the racetrack so you don't miss too much and you can chase the goals that you wanted to chase here in 2026, man. So yeah, I'll do that and get the fan ones and we'll get the hell out of
Yeah.
here.
Clayton Myers, drink it to tonight's nomination of Dog's Asshole Speedway for a Speed Week date. And dump it to Raymer right rear on Andy Best. Yeah, that was you know, tough deal. I just dump it to Andy Best, man. Just rough start to the year, and like I said, I've you could see some speed out of that 34 car. Just hopefully he'll be able to get have some better luck here and be able to put it all together and get some laps in and start to improve and we'll see where that goes. But there's been some baseline speed there with that car and um, hope to see it continue.
Just need to avoid turn 2 at bat somehow.
Yeah, right. Dakota Coon, what's up? Drink it. I got a new trophy for the DK Bumpers Award. He does. And dump it to getting dumped. Sorry about your luck there, DK. But yeah, you do have a new trophy now that you can give out. Brent Shue, drink it to all the money raised for Jeff Rohrbaugh. Dump it to Jaden Wolf and to freezing our asses off Saturday at McGrew. Yeah, and also, obviously, I think some other people are going to say it here, but drink at the BAPS for just everything that they did for Jeff and the whole thing that they did for the whole program. Having the 2 cars out there, all the money that they raised, awesome interview with Jeff. Just a fantastic day overall. Really great tribute to him, and yeah, for sure. Race Nelson, drink it to the Racing BAPS had on Sunday. Dump it to the weather at McGruben on Saturday.
No, listen. Okay, if Jimmy, did you get to see the pit walk I did?
Yes.
Did you see me go back and talk to Race about wearing shorts in 43-degree weather on Saturday? This guy shows up. He's in shorts and Crocs or hey dudes, right? Like his normal
Guy dressed for the
70
weather,
day.
man.
Guess who wasn't there to see the features? Guess who left?
Uh,
Over there. Yeah.
yeah.
Grown ass. You're a grown ass boy. You're a
Grown ass man.
Dress for the weather. Good Lord.
Brandon Zirk says, drink it to Brock Hammaker on a great run in the 358. Dump it to Jaden for his bad luck. That's a good drink it right there, too, to Brock Hammaker. Awesome debut there for him. Santos says, one of a few times I'll have a long one. Drink it to Troy for the win. BAPS track crew, everything that was done for Jeff. Brock Hammaker for badass 358 debut. And dump it to Givler for getting dumped, Jaden Wolf, and his bad luck. Yeah, that's a good one. That summed a lot of it up. Tyler Murray, drink it to getting to see some racing this past weekend, and hopefully more coming up this weekend. Dump it to Rick Lafferty's four-wheel dying on the front stretch and needing a wrecker. That was, I felt, because they had the camera focused in on it too. He's yanking the motor, just trying to get it to start, the poor guy, and then they bring out the wrecker and just pull him off.
Crowd cheered so loud.
Yeah.
He was like thank you, and the crowd went nuts.
You just
Like,
felt
oh, this is how it's going to go today, huh?
Mandy says, drink it to the weekend winners, especially Troy and Thorson, Jeff Rohrbaugh tribute, and the money raised. BAPS track crew for an amazing surface for the feature. Also dump it to Ryder LaPlante for a wicked wreck and the car catching fire afterward. Glad he was okay after that. And Jaden Wolf. Marie says, everyone have a blessed Easter. Thank you, Marie. Aunt Bay, drink it to BAPS for everything done for Jeff. Dump it to me for not having Tim comfortable until the B main. Hey, first time you guys out. First time he's been out in a while. I mean, I thought it was fantastic. I think you guys did a great job.
They did a great job, and I'll say this, right? I think Tim knocked a little rust off, and Tim's a lot larger driver than Kyle. So there probably some balance stuff there. You know, he didn't test in it. They just got the car kind of ready. So again, there's probably a lot of little things like that they can clean up quick, but Amp A setups we believe in.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll get it right quick.
You're getting some TV time, Amp, by the way. They had the camera there as he was sitting in the chute, and you're there talking to him. And then right up above on the shipping container, I could see Givler, I could see Brett Strickler, I could see our boy Dakota. I'm like, oh, this is look at all of our boys here getting some TV time. Mandy says also dump it to the World of Outlaw B main, turning into parking lot Saturday. Did someone tell those guys they can't park there? Yeah, they had a big one there, that's for sure. Drink it as always to every single one of you who tune in. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in every week. Participating wouldn't be the same show as it is without you. And if you guys are listening after, we appreciate you guys as well. As always, tuning in. We get a lot of people that come up to us at the track or will message us or something like that and just be like, hey, appreciate what you guys do, and it means a lot. So we really, really appreciate every single one of you that take any time out of your day to listen to us ramble about sprint car racing. It's really, really appreciated.
Like, share, subscribe,
yes.
and I'll leave you with a little tip. Don't put stickers on people's cars you don't know.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
And it wasn't even, by the way, I found out it wasn't even the window. It was the car.
Yeah.
Someone put a sticker on the car. Like rub dirt away and put the sticker on a car. Not our sticker. But don't do that. Be better, race fans. Be better.
Don't do that.
It wasn't us.
Wasn't us. Wasn't us.
Wasn't our sticker.
Us. Wasn't our sticker.
Someone
Wasn't us.
thought it was. Someone thought it was.
Wasn't us.
Wasn't us. But don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't mess with other people's cars.
If you're gonna do it,
for everybody.
If you're gonna do it, at least put it in the shitter. call for a good time.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Have a great Easter, everyone. We'll be back next